Hey there. Good evening, Indiana. Welcome to a special Who's Left Prime Time edition. My name is Scott Aaron Rogers. I'm broadcasting here from Bloomington, and we've got to talk about this guy. That is Chris Garten. He is Indiana State Senator for District 45 down there in the Clark County area. And, this isn't the first time he's come up recently. Just a couple weeks ago, Mr. Garten was in the news for what some are calling a fiery speech that he gave in defense of redistricting in the state house. I would define it more as a fire-breathing fascist screed, but what are words anymore? That's not even the first time in recent months that Garten has said controversial things and made an ass of himself. Here he is, and boy, that's kind of hard to see, but I'll read it for you. As Mr. Garten was talking about rural hospitals, he says, quote, "It costs rural hospitals more to deliver care in these areas. That's just the reality. We also got to accept that if you live in rural Indiana, you have made that choice. Nobody forced you to move to rural Indiana, where you are far away from a system, where you are in an area where it costs more to deliver care. There are choices to be made in this space." The pinnacle of empathy for children growing up in rural areas far away from medical care, who really do not have a choice where they live. But what would Jesus do, right, Chris? Well, now I gotta say, his most recent foray into the national consciousness really takes the Christmas fruitcake, because on Christmas Day, Garten posted this series of AI slop images along with a tweet showing him beating up Santa Claus. Now, the tweet says, when you... Boy, I made that hard to read. Oh, old man here. All right. When you find out that the North Pole is trying to... Jeez, Scott. Sorry. Anyway, when you find the North Pole is trying to bring more bureaucratic overreach and unfunded mandates down the chimney, disguised as Christmas cheer. Not on my watch. We the people run Indiana, not the bureaucrats. Take it back to the North Pole, big guy. Merry Christmas. So this went national. The Daily Beast had it. Fox News, the New York Post, this thing was everywhere. So we got to talk about it. What is this guy doing? To have this discussion with me tonight is Mr. Garten's opponent in 2022 and presumably his opponent in 2026 next year. Let us welcome Nick Marshall to the show. Nick, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing good. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here. I'm glad we could put this together. So, before we talk about your opponent and his proclivity for putting his foot in his mouth, why don't you introduce yourself to the good folks watching at home?
Well, happy merry belated Christmas and a happy New Year to everybody. My name is Nick Marshall, and I'm running for Indiana State Senate for District 45, which is all of Clark and a little bit of Floyd. A little bit about myself: I grew up in the foster care system, and if it wasn't for two wonderful sets of foster parents, I wouldn't be the person I am. On a 40-acre farm, it was the Race family, was the foster dad who put a shovel in my hand and taught me what real hard work is on a cattle farm. And his wife was a teacher who taught me the full force of what a good education can do and took care of me when I had heart surgery. And then when I was 17, a family in Louisville took me in. The foster dad was a Vietnam veteran who taught me what true respect for our country is. And his wife was a caregiver who took that title to heart. In order to care, you have to give. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be the person I am today, helping me defy the odds, be the first in my family to graduate from college, from the University of Louisville with a communications degree, a now father of two beautiful children, Evelyn and Sebastian, and been married to my wife for 9 years. So I'm continuing to defy the odds. Even by putting my name on the ballot is something tremendous to do. Again, so I just want to say thank you for having me. Let's rock and roll with this conversation.
All right, very good. I'm so glad we could do this. I'm glad you're here with me. Let us talk about these tweets. Now, What is this guy thinking, posting images of himself beating up jolly old Saint Nick on Christmas Day?
Well, I'm sure as you were doing on Christmas, I was with my children and my family unwrapping gifts, and I got an alert on my phone, and I looked down, and I first thought, "Oh, this is a joke, right?" And then quickly, I realized that this was not a joke, and it became sad, and it was a stunt. And so this made me think about all the hours I've been spending the past couple of months calling the voters of this district about what's going on and how I can help. And what I'm hearing is not trying to beat up Santa. It's why is the daycare closing down? Because that's a small business that's helping the community, and looking and helping at the food pantries that have long lines in the district, like in Utica, downtown Jeffersonville, and also New Albany. And here's a post of my opponent posting AI images of beating up Santa. It is a tough time, especially during the holiday season, not only financially, but emotionally. And what we need right now is serious leadership at the State House that doesn't pull stunts like this. It is going to have a steady hand that is going to get you through the good times and the bad times, and to make sure every Hoosier in this district is listened to. But this isn't leadership. This is a stunt, and we have to do better, and we can do better.
What message is he even trying to convey here? Like, I mean, I guess, listen, if you're one of the War on Christmas folks, you know, put Christ back in Christmas. The true meaning of the holiday is Jesus, and we're rebelling against like commercialism or something. I could see maybe trying to make that point. I don't think he's saying anything like that here.
So I am a Christian, and I don't hide my faith. And of course, we always put Jesus first. But with this post, he's talking about overreach. And as you said in your opening, this is the same senator that was pounding the podium on the Senate floor, making things political, not listening to the people, and trying to break up the Indiana Constitution by redrawing the maps. What we need to do right now is people need and want to hear the temperature come down a little bit, because, as I said, they want to make sure that they get a good education for their children, that they can afford groceries to put a warm meal on the table, and to make sure that the police, fire, and EMS are fully supported. So in the case of a crisis or emergency, they're going to show up even on Christmas Day. And so we don't need to be having stunts like this. We need to start having good legislation that is not going to cut the local governments off at the knees, and to make sure that we deliver, as we always do, just like Santa does, delivers to the people as well. You see what I did there?
Hey, that was great. That was good. Now listen, the overlap of people who are politically engaged and paying attention to these things, and the people who believe in Santa Claus, I would like to think those are two distinct circles and there's no overlap. But you know, in your case, like, your kids know that dad's involved in politics, that he runs for office, and that his opponent's beating up Santa Claus. Like, how do you explain that to your kids?
Yes. So whenever I explain politics to my family and to my two children, I tell them daddy's going to go learn to help people. And that's what it's about. Politics is about helping people. And then when my daughter's starting to grasp, each meeting I go to or each phone call I make down in the basement is, Daddy, can I help? And one day she'll be able to help. But that's what I'm instilling. It's not choosing politics over people. It's the people. You listen to the people and you help the people. And so when this image came out, I'm sitting there and I have to shield this image from my daughter, as well as my son, because they have that magic of Christmas. But also, like I said earlier, I'm a person of faith, and we do go to church. So they understand the difference between Santa and Jesus. Okay. But I'm not going to let them see this. And I'm sitting down in the basement and getting ready for this interview. And my daughter sits next to me, and there's an image on that. And I have to deflect her and say, hey, look at me. ask Daddy a question to get me ready for this interview. And she said, okay, Daddy, what about Gabby's dollhouse? And I was like, okay, we're good. She didn't see it. So that's what we have to do. As parents, we have to have that magic and that wonder for our children. That when they wake up every morning, because I understand that's what happens in the communities here. They wake up every morning trying to provide for their family. There's individuals that put in long hours this Christmas season, before Christmas, and then put in an extra shift to buy that gift for their child or their partner to make sure that they could smile on Christmas. And so this is what's going on right now, is they're trying to make that joy and that wonder back in Christmas, and also have a good meal around the table during Christmas season as well. But it's unfortunate that once again, my opponent has decided to put politics before the people. And so what we need to really do is to focus in on the people.
Garten got pushback, obviously, for this stunt. And I feel like he used his kids as a human shield in his defense. He says, quote, lots of intolerance, swearing, and outrage on display over a few AI pics I had a blast designing with my kids. He wrote in a subsequent post, some of you clowns are just insufferable. Hopefully your negativity stays in the comments and not directed at your families. And then he said, Merry Christmas, snowflakes, with this image here himself. So, like, do you even buy that this is a thing he's doing with the kids on Christmas morning?
You know, I'm not going to touch that. Okay. That is his thing and what I do with my children as well. Okay. But what I'm going to tell you about, we need to focus on that this Braun and Trump agenda is a waste of time and a waste of money when they tried to redistrict things. Like I said, I've spoken to hundreds of people in this district in the past few months, and not a single one of them said, I want an AI picture of Santa being beat up. I want my maps redrawn. They said we need relief. As I said earlier, there are daycares, which are small businesses, are shutting down. There are wait lists on the Medicaid. Premiums are going to go up to what happened in Congress here for people. And we need to stop taking our cues from Washington, D.C., and start taking our cues from the cities like New Washington, which is in the district of Clark. In the district, it's in Clark County. We need to start taking cues from Clarksville, New Albany, Sellersburg, Henryville, Utica. Those are the towns in the community that are in the district, including New Albany, that need relief. And so we have to do, as state legislators, what we have to do is make sure there's good jobs that pay higher wages to keep up with that inflation. We need to make sure that housing is affordable, so that way those first-time homeowners can walk in their home with their child, as I did, and be able to say, okay, we are comfortable where we are. And also, once again, to make sure the police, ambulance, and EMS show up on time in a crisis. Those are the issues that are going on in the district, and those are the districts. That's what I'm going to focus on when I get to Indianapolis in 2027.
It's ironic, I think, in a way, that like one of the big, most contentious issues in Indiana, that I think Republicans and Democrats and independents all alike share in common, is that we don't want AI data centers in our communities, because they, use up a lot of water resources. They use up a lot of power resources. They drive up the prices of energy for everybody. They take up a lot of space, that could be used for something more productive for society. And this slop is what they produce. Like, I don't know, man. Doesn't seem like a good trade-off. And I bet a lot of Garton's constituents are vociferously against AI. Looks like he's doubling down on it.
So we do have a data center here in Clark County. And so what we have to do as state legislators is to make sure that they're held accountable. Okay. And we are starting to see the energy prices creep up on everyday Hoosiers. And so that is another bill. So now you have to choose between a bill and a meal. You're having to choose between healthcare or staying sick, choosing between daycare or, staying at home and watching your children and not bringing an extra check home to make sure all those other things are taken care of. So what we have to do is we have to make these data centers accountable, making sure if the water that they use, they pay for, that if there's any tax breaks or any things inside those contracts, when they pack up and leave, the Hoosiers are not stuck with the bill and burning up all that energy as well. And that make sure that we stabilize the utility prices, because recently I've been hit myself. Our energy bill went up to $40. We have the means to take care of that, but I'm looking at another family in the district and talking to them and saying, help me with my bills. Okay. All right. I'm listening. This is what we can do. And when I get to the state legislator, X, Y, and Z, this is what I can do.
Republicans, I think for a lot of years, I'm going to introduce a concept, and maybe folks have heard about it before. Tom Hartman talks about it all the time. It's called the two Santa Clauses. So, in the New Deal era, from the 1930s into, say, the early 1970s, it was Democrats. It was the Democratic Party under FDR and then Truman and later, LBJ that brought a modicum of social democracy to this country. We had things like farm supports, right? We had things like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and things. They delivered material things to make people's lives better, very much like Santa Claus in a way. And Republicans were very much tired of being the Scrooge in this situation, always complaining about out of control government spending and free stuff, right? They always like to complain about free stuff. So they invented their own new Santa Claus in the form of tax cuts. And they invented supply side economics out of whole cloth, trickle down Reaganism, pick your name for it. It's the same stuff. It doesn't work. It never worked. But what they did, they invented the second Santa Claus of tax cuts. And whenever Republicans held power, they didn't cut the spending, but they did run up the government debt by cutting taxes. And then when Democrats come back into power, Republicans basically hold the government hostage and say, the debt's too high. We're going to, hold the debt ceiling hostage. They've done that many times over the years. You need to cut spending, right? You need to shoot Santa Claus. You need to, right? And Mr. Garton, I don't think ever got the lesson that you don't want to be the one responsible for knocking off Santa Claus. And here he is gleefully knocking off Santa Claus. Did he not get the memo?
Once again, you can see what he posted. Okay. And we are seeing not only from a federal level, but a state level about the things that are being cut. And so now the people are starting to realize, okay, this might be in danger. From SNAP benefits to Social Security to Medicaid to Medicare, it's all on the table. So now that safety net that you talked about a little bit earlier, that the people have worked hard and invested tax money into, could be in trouble. So now, no pun intended, what do you do when Santa is gone? What do you do? That means we have to take care of each other or put people into state legislators or the federal government that are going to take care of you in a crisis. And so I'm sitting in here and with my work with education, we had a family and they said, due to this situation that they had a diagnosis with their family, they go, we did everything right, but this happened. So can you help with Christmas? And I said, let me see what I can do. And so with my church, we were able to help them go through affordable Christmas. And they were able to put Christmas presents under the tree. And to see that family in joy and in need, that's what we're supposed to do as a community. And they did everything right. So with this post, once again, I'm not, it's a distraction. It's a stunt. And I want to focus on how we can deliver just like Santa to those family that was in need when they did everything right and they had a diagnosis that hit them. And so that's what I'm going to the state legislator is to make sure that you're taken care of. If you did everything right and a crisis popped up, we've got your back. It's not your fault. Life happens. Well, if you fall, we're going to pick you up. And that's what we're supposed to do as a community. And that's what we're supposed to do as everyday human beings as well.
You mentioned, receiving a diagnosis in the context of being hit with unexpected, bills and just unexpected hurdles in life for families. Would you care to offer any sort of diagnosis as to what is going on inside Senator Garton's head by doing these sort of stunts, by posting this slop, by pounding his fist and being so rageful in that redistricting battle, by insulting rural families and being so dismissive of their care. Like, he wasn't always this way, was he?
I can't diagnose anybody. I'm not going to go there either. But I will say there is a particular set of pattern that is going on right now. And so when you are turning a blind eye to people who, once again, who have done everything right and have a situation that happened, but then the community, just like me, those foster parents helped me defy the odds. Most kids who are in foster care end up in a worse situation, end up homeless, end up in jail, and not even finishing high school. But look at me. Those two families kicked in and they helped me become the man that I am today. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to pick these people back up. I'm going to lift them to whatever ills that they have. I'm going to get them the next step and then connect you to the right resource. And we're going to help you build back that middle class in the state of Indiana. And so I can't speak to any diagnosis. I see a pattern behavior. And what I want to tell the Hoosiers right now, there's probably more coming. Okay. And I want to sit there and tell you, expect it. And when you expect it, it's not going to shock you. And what we have to do is turn that distraction into energy to flipping this seat in November of 2026, because then we can start delivering you in 2027 and to make sure that we fully fund public education, tackle the affordability crisis, and make sure that your streets are safe by making sure fire, police, and EMS is fully funded in your community. And we don't cut off your community. That's what I want to do. And that's what I want to deliver to the Hoosiers of District 45.
So, Nick, I guess, we've only got a couple more minutes here before we got to skate. What did I miss? What angle did I overlook in this discussion here tonight?
I don't think you overlooked anything. I just want to say that I'm running for every family in this district, every person in this district, to able to put a gift underneath the tree, get a birthday gift, get a Valentine's gift, because that's coming up next.
Fellas, you better start thinking about it now.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes. And I know, like I said earlier, I know people are putting in the long hours, and the Republicans always talk about pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. People are putting on double pairs of boots right now, maybe triple, and working that extra shift to make sure that they can see their smile. Like I said, that smile on their child's face or their partner's face, that they brought home a gift and earned that. And once again, we're putting politics over the people. It has to be the people first, and make sure that you have a warm meal on your table. You can pay your bills. Your streets are safe. And that's what's missing from my opponent. I want to challenge him to tackle these issues in 2026 when he starts the state legislator. And if he doesn't, you have me to replace him. So now that's what we have to really start doing, is look at the people who are in charge and who can make a difference and who is going to be a champion for you. And once again, I defied the odds throughout my life. So let's defy the odds and slip this state Senate seat in 2026.
Yes, we need somebody who's there to tackle the issues and not to tackle Kris Kringle.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, right. So listen, if we got some folks watching here who like what you're saying, like the message you have that resonates with real families, how can people help you? Where can they find out more information about you? How can they maybe help out with a donation to the campaign or volunteering some time?
Yes. So I just want to say to the District 45, thank you for listening tonight, and thank you for having me on here tonight, Scott. And it's a pleasure to have me on here to speak about this issue. But I want to tell you that there are Democrats in your community who are fighting for you right now. We have Representative Wendy Danchester, who won in 2024 by 1,000 votes. And we have a city council in Jeffersonville that's ran by Democrats. There's a New Albany City Council that's ran by Democrats. Clarksville is ran by Democrats. They are delivering for you, not to mention Dr. Mayor Trevor Hodges, as well as Mayor Gahan in New Albany. They are fighting for you. They are hearing you and want to deliver for you. There's just a legislator that's in way of delivering for you. So what you need to do is go to HoosiersForNickMarshall.com, click the volunteer button, click the donate button, because every donation, every hour you phone bank, you send a postcard, or you even just walk with me as we walk the district, can flip this district, and we can make sure that my opponent does not take the legislator in 2027 and doesn't have to worry about posting AI again. And so let's take him out of the job and let's get to work to flip this seat in 2026.
And you know what? It sounds like he's got a hobby lined up when he's got some more free time available in the future, designing AI images, huh?
You never know. You never know.
All right, Nick. Well, I appreciate you joining me here today. I'm glad I could provide a platform for you to talk about these things. I'm bummed that we keep meeting under these circumstances. Let us talk sometime about happy, good things, huh?
Yes, there's some good things. There's good things that happen. It'll happen, and hopefully we don't have to visit us during Valentine's Day or Easter. Okay.
You know what? I'm just saying that the Easter Bunny better watch out in Garton's neighborhood. That's all I'm saying.
We hope not, but I'm just want to say I'm gonna prepare everybody just in case. Don't expect it. Use that energy to flip this seat.
All right. One more time, Nick. What was the website?
It's HoosiersForNickMarshall.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can find me. Volunteer or click that donate button, because every donation, every hour you volunteer helps flip this seat, and we can go take the state legislator and deliver for you, the everyday Hoosier.
Very good. Indeed. Listen, all you folks watching, take care of Nick. Hit that donate button. But if you do got a little change left over, I am running a special from now until the end of the year over at HoosLeft.us, where you can get a yearly subscription for $35 or just $3.50 a month. That is from now until the end of 2025. So get it while it's hot. In the meantime, though, you all have a lovely new year. And I will see you this coming Sunday for Who's Left This Week. I think I've also got a interview with Cindy Worth coming up sometime this week. I will let y'all know when that's coming. But for now, once again, my guest has been Nick Marshall. I'm Scott Aaron Rogers. Love each other, Indiana.